Welcome to Hoop State Hype with Miles Mastrocola. I'm Miles Mastrocola. Let's get right into it. So, I mentioned last week, hey, basketball's back, so we're going to pump the brakes. Kyrie Irving came out among some other guys. Dwight Howard, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes have been very, very vocal that they don't feel like basketball is in the cards right now. Not necessarily due to the COVID-19 pandemic, even though there are some concerns about the bubble that these guys are going to be living in Orlando, but more so on the climate of the country, the political climate, the injustices going on and stuff like that.
Hey, what up, world? Man, I love the NBA, man. I got, that's my family. But now ain't the time to be playing basketball, y'all. Now ain't the time. Playing basketball is going to do one thing. Take all the attention off the task at hand right now and what we fighting for. Everybody going to be worrying about the playoffs. They're going to have all that blasted all over the TV. And nobody's going to be talking about getting justice for all these senseless murders by the police. And nobody's going to be focusing on the task at hand, bro. None of these white owners have spoken up. None of them are taking a stand. Yeah, they might post a video when the season starts or saying what we should do, but they ain't doing nothing. Playing basketball ain't going to do nothing but make them money and take the attention of what we fighting for, what we marching for. It's bigger than all of us, and it's bigger than the game, and it's sad that we still got to explain that to people, bro. Sad.
Kyrie's direct quote, this is from Sham Shanaria of The Athletic. I don't support going to Orlando. I'm not with the systematic racism and the bullshit. Something smells fishy. Steven Jackson has also been campaigning, saying that now is not the time for basketball. Black people have never really had a moment before. Now is our time to capitalize on this moment. While these are valid arguments, to me personally, and like I said, here we are with another unsolicited white guy opinion, just going to say what it is.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
I genuinely believe that their impact could be magnified at an entirely different level if they actually go and play. And I'll explain it to you why. Everything going on in the streets right now is incredible. It's obvious that a momentum for change is building right now. And I will say this, it's very easy for a lot of people to tune it out. People that don't want to pay attention to the protests and stuff, they look off social media. But guess what? The NBA is coming back, and a lot of people watch the NBA. White people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. Every ethnicity around this country watches basketball. And the platform that the NBA can provide to show exactly how these players are feeling, to provide these guys another outlet to use their voice, I think is far greater than if they were to not play at all. And the other thing about basketball too, and this reminds me of a conversation I had with Coach Bates of Lab Work, one of the top trainers in North Carolina. We were talking about how the John Wall Holiday Invitational and basketball as a whole brings people together. And one of the reasons that I think, and that Bates was talking about as well, that we think the John Wall is such a special event is because it brings two Raleighs together as one. You have South Raleigh, the predominantly black part of town, the kids that go to Enloe, the kids that go to Southeast Raleigh. Those kids all come to that event. And you also have the inside the Beltline, typically whiter crowd, the kids that go to Broughton, the kids that go to Leesville, these kind of kids that come to this event together and they sit in one place and enjoy the beautiful game of basketball together. Will it be a distraction? Yeah, probably. Will it also be an opportunity for a platform to really, really relay that message that these NBA stars are so wanting to make sure that the entire country hears? Absolutely. And that's why I think it is a no-brainer that these NBA players go back and play and use that platform that ESPN, TNT, whoever's broadcasting the games will really, really allow them to speak their voice. So for me, where I stand on it, I think there's more good that comes from playing than not playing. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments on that one. College. Duke is in the news. Duke is in the news for a couple of things. A, there's a little bit of a civil lawsuit going on with Zion Williamson and an estranged agent / partner / whatever you want to call it. Toxic stuff. And the other thing that Duke is in the news for is their athletic department made a statement. Long story short, they said, hey, yeah, remember those sponsorships that the NCAA was talking about? Yeah, y'all ain't getting that. And a lot of people would look at this as a recruiting disadvantage. Maybe it's an uphill battle now for the 2021 class and beyond for Duke to get kids. What I will say to that is, there will never be a situation in which Duke is the underdog in recruiting as long as Mike Krzyzewski is the head coach. My guess is they retract that statement, they change kind of their policy on things, because at the end of the day, Mike Krzyzewski is the most powerful person in the city of Durham and quite possibly the state of North Carolina. And I'm saying that with a straight face. He is one of the most powerful people in this state, basketball, non-basketball. What he says at that university goes, and if it doesn't, he's out. So be ready for them to make an adjustment on that claim. High school-wise, Jayden Bradley made the decision to go to IMG Academy. Last week, I mentioned that it might be, something to note if prospects leave schools that are governed by state associations, Canon, NCISAA, to a school that might not be governed by anybody in an IMG Academy, where you can be secluded and in a training environment that is, really custom for the high-level professionals. For Jayden Bradley individually, Jayden Bradley is making a 25-year decision, not a 2.5-year decision. Jayden Bradley is someone that will likely play in the NBA. There's also a very reasonable chance that he doesn't spend a day of his life as a scholarship athlete playing college basketball. He's got the G League written all over him. Obviously, that's a decision that he's going to have to make with his family on what's best for him. But regardless, this is a kid that's training to be a professional. He's not necessarily worried about all these accomplishments that he can make at the high school level, especially when you consider the fact that as a sophomore, he just won a state championship and arguably the state's most difficult classification, and won Gatorade Player in the Year, while there are multiple high-level prospects in grades ahead of him that he still won that nomination over. So for Jayden Bradley making the move to IMG, good for you. The best of luck. The Hoop State has your back. The other thing for high school to make note of is the communication period between college coaches and 2022 prospects is available. A few guys in North Carolina that have really seen their stock rise over this, honestly, at this point, we're sitting here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday. They've been able to talk for about 15 hours. One of the guys that I've really talked to, and the two guys that I've really talked to the most that I feel like are going to see their offer list skyrocket are Avion Pinner out of Riverside Martin High School in Garner Road, and then Brandon White out of North Rowan High School and Team Loaded, North Carolina. Both of these guys, Brandon has gotten 3 offers today as of here we're recording. Avion has yet to receive an offer, but he's had schools like NC State, VCU, UNC Charlotte. A lot of schools reach out. So these are the 2 guys that I feel like could see their stock really soar as this communication period opens up. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a different period than we were in previous years because typically we had already had a live period at this point, at least 2. And, we're in a weird point with no basketball, but hopefully we will be returning to that late in July, and possibly later this week the NCAA will be making announcements about live periods, so the coaches that are reaching out to these kids can actually come see them in person. But regardless, this is Hoop State Hype. We appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Hoop State Network for videos just about every single day. We'll see you guys soon.
Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, and play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. Hit for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in, I get it in, I get it in. I'm on my job, I get it done, but you should know that. Shine like a sun, a 101, you should know that. I get the front and in the back, you should know that.